listen in the morning. Jimmy Lakey on the radio. I got my coffee and cream. Jimmy's on the air. Wake up and start your day. Now go and tell all the neighbors, yeah. Then crank up the radio. There's infotainment, brilliance to get you on your way. Wake up and start your day with Jimmy Lakey.
Well, top of the morning to you, my friends. That's me, the one the choir is singing about. Glad to have you here. It's hump day already. Hump day halfway till Friday. It's shocking when hump day happens and it feels like a Tuesday. That's because we had the glorious Memorial Day holiday and celebration, commemoration. So welcome to hump day, the 28th day of May, year of our Lord, 2025. Here's a random question that I didn't even mention in the pre-show meeting, but I said when I saw producer Chad at the pre-show meeting, I said, 28th day of May, that's the day I graduated high school. And producer Chad immediately retorted back and said, I think I graduated on June. He named the other day he graduated high school. And so first of all, let's dispel the rumors that Chad and I have not graduated high school. Listen, we didn't just finish 8th grade. We finished high school as well. So take that, put in your pipe and smoke it. But it brought up a thought that are there random dates that you just kind of randomly remember? Something that happened on this day in history. And I couldn't tell you what day spring break was. I couldn't tell you what day Christmas vacation was. I mean, obviously Christmas, but just random things that happen in your life that you just always remember this happened on this date. I do remember that. It's kind of fascinating that I remember that. There are negative things. I remember the day my father passed away, the date of the calendar. That would have been February the 12th. I remember that, and so I just, there's certain dates that just stick in your head, and even though it's not a national holiday, it's not like today is National Cheeseburger Day, by the way. Today is National Cheeseburger Day, but it's not like National Cheeseburger Day that everyone celebrates. It's just a day for you, and sometimes it can be a good day of reflection, someday it can be a bad day, someday it's just a random, hey, the 28th day of May, I know where I was at X number of years ago. Anyway, just throw that out there. Is there a date that you remember? Anybody else remember the date of the calendar year in which you graduated high school? Mine was May the 28th. So just letting you know, 28th. Again, random. Why do I even need to share that? Talking to producer Chad, the 28th day of May, producer Chad. It's the day I graduated high school, as if he cared. And that's what's funny. It's important enough to me that every time I see the 28th day of May, I comment and let people know that it's the day I graduated high school. Now, what's also interesting, I can't tell you when I graduated from college. I mean, I did. I don't know when. I don't remember the date. I could probably go look it up somewhere. I think I have a diploma hanging on the wall or some pigskin. They're hanging up somewhere. The diplomas are somewhere. The 28th day of May, for some reason I realized that. I don't remember the college one, but I remember the high school graduation. Anyway, that's just a random question I thought of as I was yapping. They're saying good morning to you. Good to have you here. Wherever you're at, glad to have you here. If you're just new to the program, maybe you're listening on the podcast later in the day and you're not seeing my beautiful face, and you say, what is this thing that I have stumbled across called Lakey Unleashed? You ask yourself that. Well, for years, people heard the voice only because we couldn't show the face because of the stumble in the walk with the Lord thing. I get it. People are lusting and tempting right now. Probably going to have to go to church tonight if they have a Wednesday night service because you're going to need Jesus after seeing that. I don't want that. But for years, my voice was on the radio to 20-something years. The last 10 years on an iHeart Kingdom station doing morning talk radio, and I have been shown to the door, and I've been unleashed from the confines of corporate radio because corporate radio is not necessarily all that happy with local talk and local talent anymore, not just local DJs as well. Anyway, sound off wherever you're at. Glad to have you here. If you're watching it live, you can comment throughout the program. If you're listening to the podcast later, you can always send us an email, info@jimmylakey.com is a way to get through to us, info@jimmylakey. Or you can also, if you're watching live, as you can see, some things are popping up on the screen. Those are called comments. That's called a chat room. And people are saying good morning from all across America. I just saw Roger's post up there. Good morning from the wolf-infested western ranchlands. The Copper Creek Pack are killing calves in broad daylight in Carbondale, Colorado. There's your wolf report, my friends. We should have had a sounder. We should have done that. And then we could have given the wolf report. If you'd like to see some wolves killing calves in broad daylight, Carbondale. I don't think they're selling tickets, so there's probably they could use some help with some guns. But what am I? I'm not a rancher. I don't know how they handle that. I just gave a big wink to the screen for those watching the listen to the podcast. Dennis says, good morning from Farwell, Texas today. Dennis, good morning from Farwell, Texas. I've heard of Farwell, Texas. It seems like, again, random information that flies through my stream of consciousness is I think I went to summer camp one time, church camp every summer, because we love Jesus. Yes, we do. We love Jesus. How about you? Went to summer camp every summer, and I seems like I went to summer camp with somebody that was from Farwell, Texas. I don't know why I remember that. Again, graduated high school on May the 28th, and I think I knew somebody that I don't know who it was, but I remember the name Farwell, Texas, and I think it was somebody who was at summer camp with. I don't know what the hell that's what you use for. All right, let's get to some news. What do you say? Straighten up, Lakey. Fly right. We got to get to the news here on Hump Day, halfway till Friday. Let's see. It is National. Before we get to the news, it's National Cheeseburger Day. If we were in radio and we had license to play songs, we could play Cheeseburger in Paradise. Sing it in your head while I talk. Cheeseburger Day. So I was going to be what the rookies out there would do is say, name the favorite place you have a cheeseburger at. And people would start commenting and arguing about whether they like In-N-Out or Whataburger or whatever. That's not the question. You start that little fight, shame on you. Here's the question. What kind of cheese do you like on your cheeseburger? I mean, let's say that most of you probably think you could probably make the best cheeseburger. Most people say, I make a better cheeseburger. Your kids come, Mommy, it's cheeseburger day. Can we go to get a double cheeseburger? And you say, Junior, I'm going to make you a cheeseburger that make Mr. McDonald turn over in his grave and say, why did I hire them? I mean, that kind of thing. Well, what kind of cheese? What's your preferred cheese? It's a cheesy question, if you will, but it is National Cheeseburger. What's your favorite cheese to put on your burger? Is it a cheddar? Is it a sharp cheddar? Somebody going to get out there some fruit cheese and say, I like a little bit of this, a little bit of this. How about the American cheese, the slices? Are those even cheese? There's another question we should pontificate. Maybe we could take some of that Harvard money, the billions of dollars of grant that we give to Harvard, and research whether the Kraft American cheese slices are actual cheese. I've heard, I haven't looked at the ingredients. They may have a little bit of dairy, but heck, it's worth investigation. Scott says the answer today, whatever he has in the fridge, that's his cheese. Jim says cheese, cheddar or pepper jack. I'm a pepper jack guy myself. I like a pepper jack. I like a pepper jack to have a little bite. But then I'm also, if a place has fresh sliced raw jalapenos, I don't need them grilled, stick that on my cheeseburger as well. And then you have created heaven is what you have done. Your favorite cheese, Scott says no plastic slices for me. That's what people call those American cheese slices. The little Kraft American singles, they're plastic cheese. I think I had the white cheddar ones of those slices a couple of weeks ago. They were pretty good, like the white slices. They're white cheddar, I guess, or white plastic cheddar, whatever it was. Anyway, what's your favorite cheese on your cheeseburger? We're going to be so hungry by the end of this dang show, we're not going to know what to do. What's your favorite cheese? Let us know your favorite cheese. All right, you ever been slapped by your wife? Evidently, that little pansy Macron from France got slapped around by his hot mama. She had all of his sour lip he was going to get. I don't know what happened. They're saying that it's not what it seems on camera. They're saying that, no, she didn't slap him because she hates him. She slapped him. They were just play fighting. Listen, I don't know if you saw that thing in slow motion, but it was a pretty good slap there. It was a pretty good shove of the face. That didn't look like a slap. And Macron looked very shocked that he was out in the aisle and the paparazzi were taking the photo. So they quickly said, oh, they were just play fighting. Does anybody play fight like that? I mean, you might occasionally, like poke someone or try to tickle someone in kind of a friendly and humorous way. But a shove to the face seems to me like that would be a little beyond the pale if you're playing with your lady or your man. I mean, I guess you might be into that stuff, but I'm thinking a shove to the face like that doesn't seem like real playtime to me. Here's what we need to know, though. The MSN.com says the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, may want to learn how to protect his face after another attack. Evidently, this is not new to him. The controversial incident between Brigitte Macron, his wife, longtime partner, comes 4 years after he was slapped in the face by a protester. Evidently, the French like slapping people. The paparazzi captured the drama within the Macron family after the couple docked their aircraft in Vietnam on Sunday, May the 25th. There appeared to have been a disagreement before they got off the plane, with a viral video on X capturing the speculated dispute. In the clip, Emmanuel could see getting pushed back in full view of the reporters watching as his wife shoved him in the face. She used both hands to shove her bow, aiming for his mouth, and though to shut it up. Brigitte was not fully seen, but her hands in the sleeve of her red jacket were made seen in the video. So evidently in 2021, old Emmanuel Macron got slapped in the face before. So Macron, you might want to either straighten up, fly right. The universe is trying to tell you something, or you might want to protect your face. I don't know what to tell him. There's a lot of speculation out there. Give me your thoughts. Here's the Economic Times has a story. A moment between French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, Brigitte, has sparked headlines and gone viral as video footage shows the First Lady slapping her husband while disembarking from a presidential plane after the pair were reportedly seen bickering. So they said, "Oh, we were just play fighting up in the airplane." Reports are coming off of people on the plane saying, they had been bickering a little bit. And so the reason is now listed. According to the report, an official statement from the Macron team said it was the moment when the president and his wife were relaxing one last time before the start of the trip by having a laugh. It was a moment of closeness when she shoved him in the face. It was playful teasing, is what the words have said. Anybody seen the video and believe that it is actually playful teasing? Does anybody do that? Now, when they came off the plane, they stood side by side on the air stairs at the concrete runway, and to those who were present, the president and his wife did not hold hands while walking down. Brigitte preferred to use the handrail rather than to clasp the palm of her beloved Prime Minister, President of France, whatever his name is, Emmanuel, his precious hand she did not want. According to the report, Macron was only 15 years old when he began the relationship with his future wife more than 30 years ago, and she was the mother of 3 and his French teacher. So this is a private lesson type of thing. At 15, he fell in love with the teacher of his French teacher, and now his French teacher is still giving him, taking him to the office and paddling his little face, I guess, when he wants to. Anyway, your thoughts on the slap in the face. Was it something we should read in that? And anybody, it is amazing how, can you imagine? The left, the media loves Macron, right? And I got nothing wrong. He's married. He's happy. If he likes a woman that slaps him, beats him, smacks him, whips him, beats him, calls him Edna, I don't care what he likes. That's his business. That's between him and Brigitte is what her name is. They can whip me, beat me, call me Edna. If that's his begging cry, they can do that, right? It's okay. Emmanuel, it's okay. But can you imagine? Let's just play this game. I know it's never been played before, but could you imagine if, let's say, President Donald J. Trump had been a boss or somebody for Melania, and she was 15, and they started dating when she was 14 or 15, and went on to get married, I think that would be more widely reported. There's some of you watching this program right now that did not know that that's when that relationship started. The relationship between Brigitte and Emmanuel began back when he fell head over heels for the teacher as a little horn dog 15-year-old in some French academy. She was teaching French literature, and he was lusting in his heart. I'm guessing that's how it went down. I don't have the facts of that. I'm just saying that's probably what happened. Cody says he said he didn't like how she cooked his snails, so she slapped him in the face. That's a good one. Maybe what was she pissed off at? The escargot sucks on this flight, you jackass. I don't know. They're French. They're French. They're French. They don't shave their pits. It's weird, but he fell in love with the literature teacher. Would have chosen somebody besides a French woman. I'd like a shaven one. Thank you. All right, so enough of that. Democrats, they have a trouble, and they need some advice here. This is, by the way, the question of the day. What kind of cheese do you want on your cheeseburger? You better get it right if your wife is named Brigitte Macron, or she will slap the heebie-jeebies out of you. You get my snails right and get the cheese on my cheeseburger right. And that's, you have, Delilah, you want to reenact this thing for me? No, you don't hit me. You be Emmanuel, and I'll be Brigitte. All right? Can we? That's it. That's not a nice finger to hold up there, Delilah. Not a nice finger at all to do that. That is not pleasing to the Lord. You should not do that. Democrats have a man problem. If you didn't know that Democrats have a man problem, you haven't been watching. When they go out and try to balance the ticket with a man for Kamala Harris, and she chooses tampon Timmy Waltz, you say, that's interesting. And then the left goes absolutely bat-crap crazy. Remember he was Coach Waltz? Coach Waltz, they were trying to make him a manly football player on the side. Every once in a while, he scratches his crotch before he winds up the balls and pitches. And they tried so hard to make you think that this pansy-ass man, from Minnesota, that wanted to put tampons in boys' bathrooms was somehow going to draw men to vote for Kamala Harris, the cackling queen. This is how delusional some of you Democrats are, to think that Timmy Waltz was any appeal to anybody that has a real set of twig and berries. I'm sorry, he ain't a real appeal. These are emasculated pansies that wanted to say, oh, Timmy, he's our man. He's a coach. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. He's Mr. Jazz Hands, Tampon Timmy. Well, Democrats still haven't figured out. They haven't figured out why a billionaire that they would consider an oligarch has the right to, or has the ability to speak to the blue-collar working class better than they do. They're supposedly the people of the people. And Donald Trump is a working class man. He's worked on construction sites. He said he used to work some of the equipment, go down there and use a backhoe or some kind of a bulldozer. He'd get in that thing every once in a while and go down to his construction sites. But the Democrats, rather than learning what the people think the way the rest of us think, let's meet the people. If you want to learn what the people are feeling and touching and enjoying and not enjoying and what they're going through and what's happening in their life, if you want to get that answer, what do? You go talk to the people. And that's what Donald Trump has always done. Well, Democrats like to tell you they want to fight the oligarchs. We want to fight the oligarchs. By oligarchs, they mean people with money. And yet when Donald Trump takes on the oligarchs taking money from the taxpayer, the rich people of Harvard taking money from the taxpayer, the left yesterday circulated around in some kind of a circle the wagon train, and they tried to make sure that their precious Harvard guys were not going to be taken out. These are the oligarchs. That's what oligarchs mean, very rich people, right? And they're fighting the oligarchs all the time. Well, actually, they're not. They're part of the oligarchs, and they like to tell you that they hate the oligarchs, but actually they are part of the oligarchs. Bernie Sanders is a really rich dude who flies private, and when he was confronted with that a couple of weeks ago in an interview, remember what he said? He said absolutely nothing. Zip! He said nothing, and he did not at all respond. He said he's better. He could not be waiting at the United Airline terminal like you plebes out there. He's better than that. And, of course, they're defending Harvard as well. Well, now the Democrats are trying to figure out. They realized Tampon Timmy was not the answer. Old Tampon Tim wasn't getting it done. They got a guy like Macron. He's not a modern-day American Democrat, but he's politically assuaged and aligned with them. And that man's getting slapped around by some woman. I think it's a woman. His former French literature teacher. Well, Democrats have decided they're going to have a conference. They're going to have a hearing on this. They're going to have a meeting, a confab, if you will. Democrat donors and strategists have been gathering at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. They're spending, it's a $20 million effort. It's been obtained by, I think it's the New York Times reporting this, or some of the papers are reporting it, but it's $20 million, and they're trying to figure out the erosion of the Democrat support of young men, especially online. The code name for this little confab they're having and this project they're going to launch for $20 million acronym is SAM, Speaking with American Men. A strategic plan. That's going to be on that binder, right? They have a binder full of man ideas. SAM, a strategic, Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. And they promise to investment at their confab to study the syntax, the language, and the content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisements in video games and other things. So Democrats are unveiling this $20 million SAM plan at the Ritz-Carlton to learn how young men speak, because at the Ritz-Carlton, they're spending a lot of money there, high-end hotel, eating the escargot like Emmanuel Macron himself, and then saying, How do we talk to the blue collar workers out there like the Donald has? How do we get, maybe we just should put an advertisement on their video games because all these American men are hanging out and they're playing video games all the time. Anyway, give me your thoughts on this. When the Democrats have to spend $20 million and get together and have a confab on how to speak to the American man, isn't that kind of problematic? I mean, generally, if any of you Democrats, you leftist libtards out there, if you'd like to speak to an American man, show up right now in the chat room, identify yourself, and they'll be happy to talk to you and tell you why it is they couldn't vote for Tampon Timmy and why it is that they refused to vote for cackling Kamala Harris and why we believe that Joe Biden was a deceitful, poopy pants, demented old fella and we weren't going to vote for him. I've got lots of men that you don't even have to give them $20 million. I know the guys in the chat room, some of them, a lot of those $20 is $20. Some of them would do it for free. They will speak to you. They will speak to you about what real men do, and they don't hang tampon machines in boys' bathrooms. Hey, Dems, let me give you some more advice. Real men do not advocate for biological boy defeating and conquering and injuring and competing in girls' sports. Real men don't do that. Cody points out they're doing this in the manliest place ever, San Francisco, to figure out their man problem. Hey, Democrats, I'm serious. If you have a man card problem, why don't you give us the $20 million? Producer Chad, myself, I'll go through the list of the people in the chat room right now. There's Cody, there's Roger. We'll sit down, we'll divide up. I'll get the lion's share of it because it was my idea. But I'll share some of the $20 million, and we'll give everybody a couple of million, and we'll be good with it. Okay, we'll distribute it equally, maybe. Well, it's my idea. Ray puts up this one. Real men can't get pregnant. You libtards in San Francisco that are getting together national, they're all flying out to San Francisco to learn the secret of manhood. And they're doing it, going to spend $20 million with focus groups and investigating this. And when they investigate it, they're going to come back and say, maybe we should put video game advertisement. That would be real good. By the way, if that ever becomes a topic, I don't like the idea. Let kids be kids. If kids are playing video games, don't bring a lot of commercials into that setting. I just stop it. Everything doesn't have to do that. I understand they're right, but anyway, that's a whole different topic of discussion. So there's just so many things that you guys are right now giving them advice that they're going to pay $20 million and come up with an idea that they should run advertisements and advertisement in video game platforms or have more men in commercials. Remember they were trying to tell you Coach Walls, Tampon Timmy was out there and he was going to go shoot him some geese and he couldn't get the gun to work. And he looked like Elmer Fudd out there. Lucky he didn't. He was hunting rabbits, hunting crazy rabbits. That was Tampon Timmy. And that was what the Democrats thought America would glom onto when it comes to manliness. So here we are. They're paying $20 million for an investigation, going to meet at the Ritz-Carlton right now in San Francisco, the Half Moon Bay area. Beautiful hotel, by the way. They're going to hang out there and confab and focus group on how to speak to the American man. And already, you guys have already given ideas like Ray says, real man can't get pregnant. See, Ray, the Democrats, if they would listen to you, could save the $20 million. But instead, they're meeting at the Ritz-Carlton, eating the escargot. And, you would think if the Democrats were serious, I mean this seriously, yes, they would hold a focus group. But what city near you, what town near you would the Democrats' little limp-wristed confab of goons, where would they go to learn about real manhood? I think maybe the Democrats in Colorado should probably hang out maybe more in Weld County, Colorado. I mean, there's places in America that they could probably find a little bit more of kind of a manly confab than $20 million in San Francisco. Anyway, give me your thoughts on the confab. $20 million the Democrats trying to learn how to talk to men because much to their surprise, Tampon Timmy was not the answer. And evidently, if they're trying to figure out how to connect with, now think of this, who is considered the future of their party? Gavin Newsom, Tampon Timmy, Pete Buttigieg wants to run. All these guys are men, right? And yet the Democrat has all these men that are listed as contenders and going to run for president. And yet the party says, well, we may have some men. We may have men that are biologically on the birth certificate men, but they ain't real men because we have to spend $20 million how to connect with men in America. Where would you suggest they go to learn about real manhood in America? Is $20 million at the Ritz-Carlton, San Francisco, Half Moon Bay? Beautiful hotel, by the way. But is that where they should go to learn about manliness? Or maybe they should go down to, I don't know, go down to the hill country of Texas. Go down by Doug Giles. He'll hold a confab. He'll do it for $500,000. He'll hold a confab. He'll teach you how to shoot, not like Tampon Timmy, who couldn't cock his gun. That's what Jim says. Jim saw that in the chat room. Booty Gig is a man. That's what Scott says. Well, remember, here's the thing. Booty Gig's going to run, and he'll run for president. He's going to try to run for president, although I think the cabinet of Joe Biden's going to have a tough time running because they're going to say you're in denial. A lot of you, that's going to be an albatross that has to hang around their neck. But here's a thought. You got the Democrat Party out there saying we're going to have $20 million spending at the Ritz-Carlton to try to figure out how to speak to the men of America, the young men. By the way, I'll finish that thought, but Jim pops up on the screen, says, send them to a working oil field camp in western North Dakota or up on the north slope of Alaska. Yeah, Jim, they'll probably learn a lot more about manhood there than the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. Ray says if Democrats want to find real men, this is all in the chat room, they need to go outside of the Democrat strongholds. Yeah, they're not going to find a real man in San Francisco. But again, so go back to our leading contenders. You got Jared Polis. Does he inspire real men in America to say, wow, I'd love to be him. No, you wouldn't want to be him. That would hurt. Emotionally, it would hurt emotionally to be him. I'm thinking Pete Buttigieg wants to run, and Buttigieg's going to run. And they're trying to connect with manhood and teach us how to manhood, be connecting with manhood. Anybody remember the photo of Pete Buttigieg when he took maternity leave because they had adopted a child, and he had on a fake set of breasticles, like some synthetic breasticles, and I guess they were filled with chocolate pudding or filled with chocolate milk, or they were holding the baby up to breastfeed the child through the breasticles that were made of synthetic fabric. I know it's a big deal if you have a baby now. For the young men, they're holding their baby and this bare-chested, and I guess that's some kind of a bonding thing. I'm not sure that baby bonds with synthetic breast on Pete Buttigieg. But if just about the time the Democrats say, we spent $20 million to connect with men, and our nominee one of our candidates is Pete Buttigieg. And just when they think they have that connection, you have Pete Buttigieg out there with synthetic boobs breastfeeding a child, and they go, oh, crap, we got to spend another $20 million. Pete Buttigieg, in one photo, destroyed any use of us believing that Democrats would ever be able to connect with the real man in America. Anyway, good to have all you here. Everybody's happy about that? How do you like that cheeseburger? Somebody said sharpest cheddar ever. That's our question of the day if you're just joining us. Anyway, your thoughts on where people should go. Where would the man conference be if you were the Democrats and gonna help them out and have them connect with the masses out there? Do you think they're going to be able to get together in this? It's a bunch of Democrats advising a bunch of Democrats. I think it's like intellectual masturbation, and they're going to get there and diddle around with ideas and diddle around with thoughts and diddle, and then they're going to come out and say, we spent $20 million at our confab. Let's show Pete Buttigieg's photo with his synthetic breasticles. Let's trot Jared Polis out there and Marlin. Let's let Gavin Newsom go out there. Let's big fat J.D. Pritzker go out there. Yeah, these are the men of the Democrat Party. Oh, by the way, here's our poster boy, Tampon Tim, and he's got a tampon for you and a tampon for you and a tampon for you. He gives out tampons like it's Oprah Winfrey giving out cars, and yet they're spending $20 million to find out the solution. I don't know what their solution might be, but I do know what their problem is when it comes to connecting with men. Gavin Newsom, Jared Polis, J.D. Pritzker, Pete Buttigieg. I figure out the solution on your own, but I don't know. All right, a couple of comments coming in. Man, he does have a twig, I suppose. That's in the context of it. Sorry about that, Scott. Do you think that they have goat or mutton, which is sheep, on the menu at the Man Conference. Those are a bunch of soy boys. I don't know if there's any kind of meat up there. The Democrats today are a bunch of soy boy pussified wimps. They can't handle a discussion of ideas. Believe me, I've worked for some of the libtards, and they're not easy to work with. They're threatening and dangerous people at times. And they just can't handle the arena of ideas. They have the Trump derangement syndrome, right? They have the Trump derangement syndrome. And if they want to talk to real men, they might want to go talk to Hunter's friends. Hunter probably has some real friends out there, that might be more connected than old Pete Buttigieg. All right, let's see what else we said. Cody says, no, are they serving mutton and goat? And Cody says, no, they're serving sausages and bratwurst and hot dogs at the Man Conference. I'm telling you, they're soy boys, and that's what they're going to serve. All right, we got more news stories to get to. How about that? Let's do that. Keep your thoughts coming on the Man Conference. $20 million. What advice do you give the Democrats on their Man Conference? They're trying to learn how to speak to the American man. And their best bet is to just shut their pie hole and stop nominating people like cackling Kamala. Did you see the story? The Democrats are in this problem space because they are desperate to overcome the damage they brought to their own party. And now the book is coming out, Original Sin, coming out with Jake Tapper, that, hey, not only do we not have we have a man problem, Tampon Timmy could not save us and cackling Kamala could not save us, but we also, we have a problem as being seen as deceitful. We have a problem as being seen as not nice. We have a problem as being seen as anti-democracy. Everything they've accused Donald Trump of being anti-democracy, they're being seen about that. And we also seen as deceitful because we have now exposed, everybody's trying to say, I didn't know, they deceived me. Y'all got blown away and deceived in the Joe Biden cover-up. Well, more information is coming out about the Joe Biden White House, right? That Kamala couldn't confront Joe. The cabinet was too cowardly and wimpy, too busy playing with their fake breasticles, I guess, to confront the dementia and the cognitive decline of Joe Biden. Listen to this excerpt. President Joe Biden's aides consider that First Lady Jill Biden was one of the most powerful first ladies in history, according to the new book, Original Sin. By proxy, the First Lady's top aide, his name was Anthony Bernal, became one of the most influential people in the White House. The book by Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson said in their book that the Biden's cognitive decline was really covered up. And they go on to say that this Anthony Bernal was a weapon that would weed out any defectors. So if there's anybody behind the scenes, unelected little pansy bureaucrats working for old demented Joe, this chief of staff or this aide to Jill Biden, he considered loyalty to be the defining virtue. Would wield that and yield that word to elevate and oust others at times fairly, at times and fairly not. He would ask West Wing aides, "Are you a Biden person? Hey, is so and so a Biden person?" It was a regular interrogation by Jill Biden's staff that led some colleagues to dub him the loyalty police. Journalists are outlining this. During the old pandemic, the booger cootie virus, Biden traded the campaign trail for lockdown. Two aides, one was Bernal, who I just mentioned, and one was Annie Tomasini, found their way into Joe's and Jill's basement, and they took it over and they ran it as Joe Biden's Politburo. These are people that I'm very grateful to hear that have been invited to testify for a House Oversight Committee, but I also believe that they said if they don't show up, they will be subpoenaing them and forcing them to come and to give their testimony. And also on the list to attend the hearing and oversight of Congress is Dr. Jill Biden. Listen, Democrats, if you'd like to figure out, I'm back to this confab you're holding out on the West Coast of the Ritz-Carlton, spending $20 million. If you would like to know how to connect again with American men, see, American men, for the most part, we're just upright citizens just trying to earn an honest dollar. We're just trying to make do. We're trying to be good men, trying to be good fathers. We're not trying to rip anybody off. We're trying to say, get off my lawn as far as the government. Let me live my life. You live yours. Most guys outside of like a San Francisco, where most men rename themselves into Karens and they become all pansified. Most men just say, I don't care what your opinion is. I don't care your lifestyle. You be you, boo, and I'll be me. And so when most men, real men, that they still have an intact set of berries and twig, right? They're still there. Most men are going, how would I be a part of a party that lied to me for 4 years at the highest levels of government and told me that the national security and the future of this country and my kids' future and my safety and all of this was in the hands of the capable Joe Biden, when I find out it was actually being run by a fake doctor that named the First Lady, who's, I believe, an evil person. Mark my word, I believe it will come out how evil and elderly, how she abused the elderly just for her own power and prestige. But also, if you want to connect with real men, you got to come out and tell the real men out there, we suck. We lied to you. We lied to you. And when we find out think of the wars that have been started. Think that all the things that have happened. Think of the people that died in Abbey Gate in Afghanistan because of a demented state of Joe Biden's mind. And all of that could have been avoided had someone in this administration, including these two dweebs that I hope go to prison, that ran the Politburo during the campaign. If the Democrats want to learn how to connect with real, honest-to-God American men out there, getting together at a confab at the Ritz-Carlton, you can do that all you want. But the first thing, if you want to connect with real men out there, is you're going to connect with real men who know how to load that gun up, know how to get something done around the house on occasion. Even Donald Trump knows how to drive the bulldozer and work the shovel at a construction site. And if you want to connect with real men, you're going to apologize and make them believe that you're not going to lie to them and tell them, even though they know it's not true, that just because she's a woman, you got to vote for her. She's a cackling old hag named Kamala Harris. She's unaccomplished. She was not competent. She only got the job because Demented Joe said he would choose a woman, and she was the highest profile woman that he could argue had some kind of a national experience. There was no one else out there except Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota at the time, but Amy Klobuchar had been pro-police back in her days, and this was the Democrat Party that had said, screw the police, we love George Floyd, and we want police to die. If you want to connect with real men in America, you might want to go back to all of those thought processes and just do it all opposite. That's how you're going to connect with America. But unfortunately, I don't think Democrats really want to connect with America. All right, so the Jill Biden staffer was one of those hated. The loyalty police is what they did. The Mann Conference, $20 million. Oh, there's talk back on it. We may have some northern neighbors. Get your flag out. You may need to may have to redo it. They may have to add a flag. Evidently, President Trump has said, I have not heard it from the from our northern neighbors, that evidently now that we're going to build the gold dome here in America, which is like the Iron Dome in Israel, but better, it's golden because we have the golden age of America. It is in space, Star Wars type Reagan defense, Star Wars technology going to defend America against incoming missiles. Evidently, President Trump, and again, just read the story yourself, Trump says that Canada's back in it. They're considering it. Oh, you got the gold dome. We weren't going to do it, but now we might. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that Canada was considering giving up its statehood in exchange for protection by the proposed gold dome missile defense system at no cost, despite Canadian officials repeatedly saying their country is not for sale. Donald Trump says, I told Canada, which very much wants to be a part of our fabulous Golden Dome system, that it will cost them $61 billion if they remain separate from us. You want to be part of the Gold Dome, Canadians? That's going to be $60 billion that you're going to have to pay us if we're going to protect your little Canadian asses up there. If you remain separate, but if you come in as a 51st state, it's going to cost you $0 because you would become our cherished 51st state. So make room in your heart for the Canadians, and I think they want to be part of the Gold Dome, and so President Trump says they are really going to join the 51st state. Now, I've not seen that reported by the Canadian media yet, and I haven't heard any cooperation from Canada, but President Trump said it, and I believe it because President Trump, he's the president. And you say, you should believe he's the president. Listen, you believed everything Joe Biden said, so give me a little slack if I'm going to have a little fun saying I believe that Canada wants to become the 51st state. Ray has a fantastic idea for you guys. See, we are saving them money out there. Ray has a great idea. Because we're going to figure out what it's on the screen now. if you're going to do the man confab, they, at the San Francisco Ritz Carlton, right? Yeah, somebody said they're going to be bratwurst and sausages and wieners and things like that served because they're connecting with real men in a grill, right? Ray has the wisdom of Solomon. He is splitting the atom. He's splitting the hair here. And Ray says they're going to have to serve tofu wieners. I'm guessing they make such a thing, tofu wieners. And sometimes, as Freud says about cigars, sometimes a tofu wiener is just a tofu wiener. And other times it's a tofu. I don't know. We got to stop talking about the man conference and their food items, because what they put in their mouth at the man conference is probably not good. If I was going to nominate Kit Carson in Colorado, that'd be a city in Colorado. I'd say you could go down and learn to be man. They probably got a Best Western or a high Plains Inn or something like that. They can stay at a little confab. They can learn about men out there. They can even go to Greeley, Colorado, the Weld County seat. I live in Weld County. I don't live in it's kind of rural, but not as rural as part of Weld County. Weld County is a very, very large county. They could go hang out in Greeley. And there's they actually have hotels there of running water. Sometimes the toilets actually flush in Greeley. I mean, there's lots of good parts about Weld County. Ritz Carlton is probably not yet. But I think if they're looking for the menu of tofu wieners, I'm not sure if anybody has a tofu wiener menu that's very active here. Do you hear this? As the Democrats are trying to find identity, that there's a survey out that the old bloom is falling off the rose when it comes to Barry O. That's right, Barry Hussein Obama, who has been considered to be the leader and the behind-the-scenes chief. And he's more of a chief than Pocahontas and Elizabeth Warren ever thought she'd be. He's been running the Democrat Party. His staff have been running the old fallen down, poopy pants, demented Joe Biden administration. According to NBC News, Democrats are apparently tired of having their party controlled by people who were part of the Obama government. It's easy to see why, according to the commentator here. Obama and his people and the people in his orbit have been running the Democrat Party for almost 20 years. Since 2016, they have lost to Donald Trump twice. Before that, they lost control of the Congress in 2 Tea Party wave elections. Maybe David Hogg has a point after all. NBC News reports Obama world loses its shine in a changing world and a changing and hurting Democrat Party. After Kamala Harris entered the presidential race last year, she reached out to the Barack Obama campaign alum Jim Messina to help her lead the White House bid. But when Messina shared news of the vice president's offer with a friend, he received a stern warning. The warning told the old campaign advisor for Obama, Jim, if you want to get involved in this is going to be political suicide. Democrat mega donor John Morgan, a longtime Harris critic, recalled his conversation with Jim Messina, who had served in Obama's White House. He says, you're going to be a loser, and your whole shine is you're undefeated. Jim Messina declined the job, and after Harris lost to Donald Trump, it may not have been a bad move. David Plouffe, the brilliant architect of the 2008 campaign for Obama, served as a key role in Harris's campaign, now is tagged among those with a devastating defeat. Anyway, it's an interesting piece. NBC's reporting that behind the scenes, when they ask Democrats, they say, you know what? We're kind of tired of you people. Obama, the bloom is off the rose, and now that Michelle Obama, or Big Mike, is out there doing a podcast and dishing out dirt on Big Mike every week she does a podcast, it looks like things are changing, my friends. It's a party that's looking for an identity, and every story today seems to be pointing towards the lost identity of the Democrat Party. Here's what happened. They decided to deny identity. They said if you're a boy, you can be a girl. If you're a man, you can go to the girls' bathroom. They got rid of real scientific years and generations and decades of just real biology. Told us you had to believe the fake biology and the fake science that Dr. Fauci and the big pharmas were pointing to you. But real biology, don't worry about that. If you want to put on the onesie and go swim with the girls, that's okay, even if you got a bulge there. They lost identity, and now they're looking back and going, we've lost that. It started under Obama. The racial theories and racial thoughts. A lot of people voted for Obama thinking, we'll finally have the albatross around our neck. We'll have a black president, and everybody's going to stop talking about race. And what they did, had race riots. And now we know every time it's time towards an election, whether it's a George Floyd or something else, are going to find a reason to have race riots in America, led by the modern day Democrat Party. Again, Democrats, I'm helping you out. You're spending $20 million to do a confab and retreat, eating tofu wieners and trying to figure out how to connect with real men in America. I just suggest you go out and talk to real men in America. You think Donald Trump's comfortable on the campaign trail because he sat in a bubble in an Ivy League palace somewhere? No, Donald Trump went to the construction sites. I know some of you are so deranged you can't believe it. Donald Trump hung out on construction sites. Donald Trump with his father would go door to door and collect their rents on these apartments. And I'm sure they had some, and Fred Trump, I'm sure, had some, with Donald, heard some sob stories and had to give some extensions. He understood that some people weren't able to, he's been there. And Pete Buttigieg, he's been to the prosthetic device, putting on fake boobs with chocolate milk in them. You Democrats are you're not real bright, right? But right in front of you are all the answers, and now they're out there. Joe Biden's persona non grata. Kamala Harris is a cackling fool, and now the stories are coming out that people are kind of sick of the Obama team running around and trying to make all things good. And it's just not working for them. It's not working for them right now. If you watch these polling numbers for the Democrat Party, it is pathetic. I really think I'm trying to think of what I'm thinking. If you had a popularity contest between a case of hemorrhoids and the Democrat Party, the hemorrhoids might actually win. I mean, that's how low the Democrats are seen. Now, that might make some of you very upset out there. Going, that's my party. Well, it shouldn't be. You've been run by liars and deceived. That's why it's happening. They don't know whether to blame Obama. They don't know whether to blame the men. They don't know whether to blame Kamala or Joe, or the media says it's their fault. It's just fun to watch, my friends. Pop the popcorn. Here we've had almost 45 minutes of a story, basically over and over again, the Democrats trying to figure out their identity, and it's not working very well. All right, American cheese. Anybody like the American cheese on it's Cheeseburger Day in America, National Cheeseburger Day. Do you plan to eat a cheeseburger at home, or do you plan to go out for your cheeseburger? I have a lunch appointment about noon, and I hear we're going to a brewery, and I'm guessing there'll be a burger. Now that I know that it's National Cheeseburger Day, I might have a cheeseburger for lunch, which is could be good. I'll look up, but I want a good cheeseburger. What's your favorite cheese on your cheeseburger today? And do you think you can make the cheeseburger better? When you're really craving a cheeseburger, you want that cheeseburger, do you make your own, or do you crave a location more than you crave your own cheeseburger? That's a question for you. When I'm talking cheeseburger, you're like, wow, that sounds really good. Is it the one you think of, like from Texas, I'd go to Whataburger. California, you go to In-N-Out, right? You have when you think you want a cheeseburger, are you thinking, no, the only thing that's going to satisfy my cheeseburger desire is to make my own cheeseburger? Or is it the only thing going to satisfy to go to a bar or a pub or a restaurant, a fast food joint, and get it? So what cheese do you want on your cheeseburger today? If I were making you a cheeseburger, what cheese would you request? We haven't had any stinky or weird cheeses put up there. People did talk about tofu wieners today, but other than that, I thought we were gonna have some brie on a sandwich or a cheeseburger. I don't know if that's possible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, glad to have you here. Let's see. Oh, the Ukraine story. We got to get to that more tomorrow. We're gonna get some guests on this thing. Donald Trump says you're playing with fire over there, Putin. You're playing with fire. He says I've kept some very bad things from happening to you. It really is a scary situation. It's not to be made light of. Putin is out of control, and Putin's doing what Putin's doing, and the world is getting tired of the killing there. And now the world is starting to say, okay, we've just kind of told old Zelensky that he can kind of don't let you take any more land, but we're going to give him some bigger weapons and further range missiles. And this is, if it goes through like this, is going to be a big escalation, and it's not good. So we got to talk more about that. Circle that, because there's all these other stories that are out there. But as Donald Trump says, Putin has gone crazy, and I don't know what happened to him. And I'm listening to Donald Trump say that. I say, I don't think Putin was ever really a nice guy. I think that's KGB. But I get what he's saying. Putin's gone crazy. But it's it. All right, let's see. Arloa says there was a wonderful place in Colorado Springs. Arloa lives in Texas now. Red Top, that used Velveeta, and it was wonderful. Velveeta on a burger. Is it melted Velveeta or sliced Velveeta? Because if you melt the Velveeta, you can give that nacho type texture, right? And speaking of plastic cheese, there is Velveeta. Is Velveeta, producer Chad and I know that 51% corn, oak barrels. I mean, there's this formula for something actually we call a bourbon in America. It's got to be, there's a formula. I remember a few years ago, Subway got in trouble because I think it was their tuna sandwich. They found out there was no tuna. Was that tuna? I think it was tuna. I think so. And I'm just wondering, for all these things that they call cheese for National Cheeseburger Day, Velveeta would be a good flavor on a cheeseburger. I could see that. If it's sliced, it's hard to slice Velveeta. It's a tough one. You got to melt it down, and then you got a nacho burger, right? But that would be delicious. I can see that. But how much cheese or dairy has to actually be in a carton of cheese before they can declare it a cheese? She says it was big, thick slices that, of course, did melt. Okay, because she put the slices on there, so they didn't pour nacho cheese on. Okay, see, this is real-time conversation I'm having with Arloa. It's like Arloa and I are sitting at our kitchen table right now with a cup of coffee and conversing one with another. Thank you, Arloa. We appreciate the information. Would you rather, Arloa, I'm going to real-time conversation. Watch how this works. Arloa, would you rather have, if you're at cheeseburger day, would you rather make your own cheeseburger to satisfy that hankering for a cheeseburger, or is there a place you'd rather go to have that hankering, that itch scratch for the cheeseburger? And that's a question for all of you, not just Arloa. She may be the teacher's pet, but all of you can answer when it comes to scratching your cheeseburger craving. Do you make your own cheeseburger, or is there someplace you like to go for your cheeseburger? Feel free to jump in here. For the price, In-N-Out is the best burger. Yes, I agree. In-N-Out is for a price. As a matter of fact, I don't think there's an In-N-Out by where I'm going today, because I would cheat and get a pregame cheeseburger just in case the burger at the bar. Have you ever done that? You go into a business meeting and no one's eating and you're really hungry? Arloa to go to the butcher shop in Longview. Okay, so she's not cooking it herself. She's going somewhere to eat it. Thank you, Arloa. You ever done that? You go to a meeting and you're hungry as heck, think you have a lunch meeting, everybody has tofu wieners or salads, and you're like, oh my God. And you leave, and once you know that none of your coworkers or business meeting follow you, you jump in the quickest drive-through line you can. I've done that. I've gone to people's houses going, I'm so freaking hungry right now. I got to stop and get. Not all the time. Happens not with my friends now. Those are old friends. Ever do that? Yeah. Or you're not going to eat a lot, or you're going to be too hungry, so you'll pregame on the way to it. You're like hungry. You eat lunch at noon and you have a meeting at 2 for lunch. You're like, hell, I got to eat. You grab a burger on the way to the meeting, and then you get there and you're like, I just have a salad. I'm not that hungry. Oh my goodness, you're looking great. You lost weight. They don't know that you just drooled out a double cheeseburger in traffic on the way there. Is it just me? Kind of feeling like I've exposed myself, not in a Democrat Party way or a Hunter Biden way, but I feel like I've been very vulnerable for you, and you're welcome. Jim says, Bad Daddy's used to have a half-pound burger, which is about a half-inch thick, deep fried mozzarella cheese called the Big Wheel. A couple of weeks ago, my son and I were near a Bad Daddy. I think it's Bad Daddy's, Big Daddy, Bad Daddy's. I think he got that hamburger. I think he did. It was a massive burger. I said, good luck opening your mouth up that big. I mean, you may be related to me, but even my mouth, big mouth doesn't open up. Cody says, what about government cheese? Never had it, but I heard it melts great. Is Velveeta the closest thing you get? I got to wrap this show up. We're now talking about government cheese on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Hey, we got a couple more days in this month of May. And as you know, I asked a favor of all of you to help us get towards a goal for my charity Rivers Promise. In about 2.5 weeks, I'll be in Africa. I'm do some shows from Africa. You're going to get to see Africa in the background while I do some shows. I'll miss 1 or 2 on the travel day, but I will be doing the broadcast and the show, the podcast, the streamcast from Africa. And I put out a request to help us. Had a $50,000 goal in mind that was set back in March or April, that sometime by the end of May, we want to raise about $50,000. And the casino gala that we had was right at the center of that. And $50,000 would solve a lot of problems for operation expenses that we have. Just the day-to-day operation of a school and taking care of hundreds of children and feeding thousands of meals a month and all the things that we do. $50,000 would have solved kind of our OPEX expenses for the rest of this year. And that's going to then free me up. I haven't told all of you, but we have a $300,000 matching grant, $350,000, I believe, available to us, but we have to raise the half of it. And somebody else is going to write the other half of the check. And we haven't been able to focus on that because I'm keeping my head above water just operating the school. So anyway, we're near the end of May. And we have done yeoman's work, and we have paid the bills and all the fun stuff that we've done over there. But we have fallen short of the $50,000. And in a couple of weeks, I'll start talking about my golf tournament and all that fun stuff. But I would ask you, as we wind down the month of May, maybe you get paid the 30th and coming into the weekend. I don't know what your schedule is. But would you do me a favor? And if you seriously have not considered it, contemplated it, go to our website, Rivers Promise, and donate whatever that little voice in the back of your head says to donate. Maybe it's $2. Maybe it's, I got to give $100. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's income tax refund came. I don't know. $30 feeds a kid 2 meals a day for 30 days. Okay, you get the idea. 65 keeps a kid in school. There's all sorts of ways that I could slice and dice the number for you. But we're still short of the $50,000 goal this month. And we got a couple more days to round it off and top it off and get as close as we can or pass it, I hope. If you'd like to mail us a check, do that. We have a P.O. box. It's on the website. You can also text. There's a text way to give. There's all sorts of ways to give. It's all found at riverspromise.org, riverspromise.com. But do me a favor, if you would, I'm asking you, contemplate as we head towards the end of the month. I'd like to go into the second half of this year knowing that our operation expenses have been covered. We've taken some hits in our operation expenses. Just people hit different economies in life, and it happens. We ebb and flow. And this has been one of our toughest operational years for a while because every year we expand our school. We're adding 30 more kids. We're adding a fifth grade class with the buildings we have, and then we got to start construction to build the rest of it. So we're blowing and going, and you can't just because that's because you have a sponsor that said they can't sponsor little Sally anymore. We don't take Sally out of school. We keep Sally in school. It's not fair to the child, and so that's how we operate. So if you can help us, I throw all that out there. Say riverspromise.org. Make that donation, riverspromise.org. And again, whatever amount you feel that little tug in your heart, if you've been thinking about it all in the month of May, maybe you have. Maybe you were at our casino gala. Maybe you were wanted to be there. Whatever the case may be, maybe at that night you had a number in your head. If you haven't done it, do it today. Riverspromise.org. We appreciate it. It's the Lord's work. It ain't my work. Just keeping a promise, doing what I was put on the planet to do. All right, one more quick things before we do the meme roulette. Get the globe ready. Polish off your globe, Delilah. There it is. The globe's ready to spin for the stolen meme section of the show. Jimmy Lakey, head honcho of hype, it says on your screen. Look at there. I never go to the big screen until the end of the show. So then I see what producer Chad has created for my identity. Not my sexual identity. That's male. Thank you. I am a he, him. I think it's just he, him, right? Is there another one I'm supposed to say? I don't even know. Never contemplated it. Anyway, let me remind you, Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com. I need to reach out to Sherry today. I'd like to get her on maybe this week before we end the month of May. Just again, talking about the summer months, what you need to be prepared for, what you need to be ready for. And she posted up, if you follow her on Facebook or Twitter or any of the places she's at, I forget where I saw it. She posted up that she just she was being a buyer's agent that day and took her client to go see a house. And in her head as a realtor, Sherry's thinking this house is worth more. The person looking at the house is going, this is not worth a lot. I could slash this price. The painting was done wrong. It hadn't been freshened up. There were a lot of things. And so while the buyer is out there going, lowball, Sherry's going, oh, what a missed opportunity. There could be a bidding war if you would have done some things different. Listen, not all realtors or real estate agencies are created equal. There's some nice ones out there, some good ones, some good friends, a lot of them. But Sherry Cree is above and beyond what you're going to find in a lot of outfits out there. Sherry looks at real estate as you're going to build generational wealth with this. You play this right, you make the right move, it's generational wealth. This is going to be when you sell it in a few years, you're going to parlay that. And by the end of your life, those real estate transactions should have really made a dent on future generations for you. I mean, that's the big picture she looks at it with. And so it's not just about sticking a sign in your yard. It's about competing to be the realtor of your family for life. So that when your kids want to buy a starter home, they go, you got to call Sherry. She's helped us with all of ours. That's the type of relationship she wants. And she knows she's not going to get that just by being a pretty face on a business card, right? She knows she's going to earn it. She's going to prove it. She's going to show you that she'll put those skills, I call them the ninja skills, to work and really help you do the right thing and make the right decision. And maybe today's not the day you need to list your house. She'll walk you through. Maybe she knows another development that's coming online, and maybe just different. She sees the whole market, and you live your life, and she wants to help you with her expertise and bring in. If you're thinking of buying or selling right now in Colorado, Fort Collins to Fort Lupton's, Denver, hello, Denver, she can help you there as well. Broomfield, Boulder, Berthoud, she can help you there. Greeley, we talked about you earlier. She can help find the homes with the flushing toilets in Greeley. She can, I jest with you, Greeley. I'm sorry. Sherry Cree, homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. And again, it's not about just putting a sign in the yard or visiting open houses. It's about the strategery for you and your family. Homeswithsherry.com, homeswithsherry.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have the magic globe in my hand. I hold it like a scepter of a king, but I'm just really the head honcho of hype. That's all I am. You ready? This is the stolen meme section of the show. I whisper as if we're a tennis match or golf match. If you're new to the program, at this point, we spin the globe because we steal memes from around the globe, and we don't know where they come from. They come up on the screen. Let's proceed. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. There it is, the meme machine. Aerial view from a drone. It's a beautiful blue ocean and coming up against the seashore. It says, I'm not saying I'm old, but when I was in school, we made ashtrays for our parents in art class. Yeah, that's how old I am. I remember that. Anybody remember the little metal tin ashtrays that sat on the McDonald's smoking section? I'm so old, I remember when they had a smoking section at McDonald's. Anybody else remember that? I remember those weren't very big, but if I could find some of those McDonald's ashtrays, I would put them out in my cigar palace. Hey, what kind of cigar are you smoking? Here's your little ashtray. I'm going to be on the quest for McDonald's ashtrays. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm that old. I remember making ashtrays in ceramics class or whatever. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Headline, new study finds that people still wearing masks in 2025 are 300 times more annoying than the average person. Yes. Can I look you all in the eyes? Friends, some of you brothers and sisters in Christ, if you're still wearing a mask right now, you're dumb. I don't know. No, I take that back. Your Honor, I retract the previous statement. We have a friend, producer Jen, I have a friend that just had some mouth surgery, right? And he had some swelling, but he's still trying to circulate and percolate and get out and do things. So he wore a mask this week. I saw him in a mask, and I hope the dental work went well. I hope the facial surgery went well. I hope it went well. I guess he'll have an unveiling one day. He'll unveil it one day to us, but right now he's got a mask on. So he's not dumb. He's smart to having a mask on because goodness knows would make fun of him for his looking like a big swollen up chipmunk. So he doesn't be made fun of. So I get that. He's not dumb for wearing a mask. He's smart. But I don't know. I still see people on planes putting masks on. And, the good thing about mask on plane, and this is just one more little quick item from the wisdom of Lakey. I should write a book on this. So much damn wisdom on this show. You know what great wisdom is? A mask on a plane was good for one reason. So that if you fell asleep on the plane and your mouth fell open, then not everybody could see you in that dangled state. That was good. I appreciated that. You ever done this? If they say, go to the lavatory nearest you. And if you're back in the coach, sometimes the one nearest you is the back of the plane. And if you're up in the premium economy, first class is lined up, you got to walk the gauntlet, right? You ever walk when everybody's sleeping? It looks like a fly traps all the way down there. Yeah, the flight attendants just have to, that's the ugliest few flight attendants ever get of humanity. If I had to see humans like that every state of every day of my life with their mouths gaped open, snoring, drool coming down, just walking up and down the aisle, I'm sorry, I might go postal. I just couldn't do it. So yeah, the flight attendants get to see that. I digressed again. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Text here. An illegal alien expecting the due process is like a shoplifter expecting the store to give him a refund on the item that they have stolen. That's true. Again, Democrats, if you want to remember and know how to connect with men, Stop going and fighting for the men that are accused, and in some cases, murderers and accused sex offenders, and trying to get them back from El Salvador back into America for a due process, which you know what that due process would be? It'd be about 24 hours, and then they'll send them back out. Just new paperwork. Round and around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Helping the Democrats connect with men better than ever. We got a lot of text here. This is good for those listening to the program. If vegetables are so good, explain to me why vegans are always trying to make them taste like meat. Wow. The wisdom that we put on the show, my friend, right there. My mind just went to a little bit of a poof. It was like poof. It might have been gas. I think it was my mind. Poof. If vegetables are so good, explain to me why you damn vegans are always trying to make them taste like meat. I was in this grocery store the other day, and they're making a vegan or plant-based sausage. And I'm like, listen, if your life has become so pathetic and you become so dogmatic that you can't eat sausage, but you're trying to make grass tastes like sausage, I moved to France. That's all I can tell you. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Here's an old illegal getting deported. It's not deportation. It's called repatriation. We're returning them to their country so they can make their country great again. Donald Trump, if you're listening to the show, this is how you should phrase it. You're not deporting people, you're repatriating them. If these are the finest citizens that you think they are that have crossed our northern border, then we need to ship them back to their country and they can make their country great again. Because you told us they're the best citizens ever. These are fine. A father from Maryland. Oh, great. Let's let him make his country great again. By the way, his country is El Salvador. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. Donald Trump. I still don't understand. This is not him saying it. This is a photo of him. It says, I still don't understand how the man who had never served in public office before being elected president is blamed for all of America's problems by people who have been in Congress since the 1970s. Yeah, there's so much truth to that. It hurts right there. That's all of these people, Michael Bennet, John Hickenlooper, name all your libtard Democrats that represent your state and saying all the problems that Donald Trump's not solving and he's causing. All these problems existed before Donald Trump, and you guys have been in Washington longer than him. Remember that. Round around the globe we go. Where we steal the memes from, no one knows. We might have milked the meme machine dry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have milked the meme machine dry. If you'd like to be featured on this program sometime in the very near future, I'd love to talk to you about your business. I really would. I'd love to tell everybody about your business. Send me an email, info@jimmylakey.com. Happy to give you some numbers on the show. They're looking better, good. And with the launching of our new podcast, the numbers have really been good. Real soon, we're going to be launching out some new versions of the Critical Mission podcast, which has been kind of on hold as we launch this one, and other things going on. So a lot of big things happening in the future. And if you'd like to be a part of it, like Sherry Cree, like Corey Clinton, like Layman Lewis, feel free to jump into the fray. We'd love to have you, no matter what part of the country you're in. We have audience that we can show you from really all over, and we call geo-tracking, geofence. It's fancy. Info@jimmylakey.com. Info@jimmylakey.com. All right. Don't forget, riverspromise.org is the name of the charity. We'd like you to give money today. We're heading towards that end of the May. When I had set a big kind of a fundraising goal, I knew it was a big one. It's a big one, and we haven't hit it yet, but there's still time. You can learn the address to mail a check to Rivers Promise on the website, riverspromise.org. There's also an online portal that you can donate securely. Love to hear from you today. And tomorrow, I won't, giving is a private thing, but I may go through some first names of people that have been sending in some gifts here and there the last several weeks and give you a shout out by first name. We'll do that tomorrow. So get on that list if you like. I know you don't do it for that reason, but know that. All right. Race has another great idea from the YouTube. He says a venison burger with barbecue sauce and topped with white cheddar. That's the burger he wants on National Cheeseburger Day. He's going to, Ray, you're going to make that yourself. God bless you, and please let producer Chad and I know what time the dinner bell rings. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. A slice of heaven. You feel the joy in my heart, and I feel the joy that you feel for feeling the joy in my heart. I don't know what that means, but ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. Watch out if your wife's name is Brigitte and your name is Emmanuel and you're a French pansy. You're going to get a good slapping today, Emmanuel. She used to be his teacher. You ever think she bends him over the knee like that with a paddle? Paddles old Emmanuel. She smacked him down, didn't she? Slapped him right in the face. Yeah, Canada. You want that gold dome? We got a gold dome for you. I gotta go. riverspromise.org. I am Jimmy Lakey. May God bless you. May God bless America. Jimmy Lakey, see you tomorrow. Peace. I'm out of here.